Buenas tardes. I hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you for being here. I will now call to order the public hearing of the Board of Trustees of Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Trustee De Leon, Trustee Edgar Garcia, Trustee Norma Lopez Harris, Trustee Edward Camarillo, and Trustee Alejandra Aldrete, and myself. Also present are Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez, our president, and I call on Alejandra Aldrete to lead us in the pledge, please. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Public hearing on proposed 2026 ad valorem tax rate for Texas Southmost College District. This is a public hearing to give the taxpayers an opportunity to express their views on the board's proposed tax rate. The board is proposing the following tax rate: a maintenance and operation tax rate of 0.096148 and a debt tax rate of 0.003586 per $100 evaluation. The 2026 Notice of Tax Rates in Texas Southmost College District has been published on the TSC website since August 3rd, 2026, and in the local newspaper, August 15th of 2026. I call on Mr. Carlos Pecero, Vice President of Financial and Administration, to present information on the proposed tax rate before I call on the first speaker for public comment. Mr. Pecero?
Thank you, Chair Sainz. Members of the Board, President Rodriguez, I have for you a short presentation on the proposed tax rate. Thank you, gentlemen. The property tax rate that we're proposing is composed of two key items: the maintenance and operations section, which pays for our day-to-day operations, and our debt service section, which is used for principal and interest mainly. The proposed rates that are available for your consideration are the voter approval tax rate, the prior year tax rate, and the no new revenue tax rate. What those rates consist of are, here on this slide, we can see the columns for the no new revenue, the prior year, and the voter approval tax rate. The no new revenue tax rate is a rate that would equal the same amount of revenue generated compared to last year's budget. The prior year tax rate is exactly that, just last year's tax rate. And the voter approval tax rate is the highest limit that we can put on that rate without a referendum. So we are proposing, on this slide, as you can see here, our voter approval tax rate, which is 0.099734, and the components related for M&O 0.096148, and for debt service 0.003586. As we can see from this slide, it is a lower tax rate than the prior year. And when you compare that rate to a $100,000 valued home, you can see that the impact to a taxpayer would be $99.73 compared to last year's $111.81. This tax rate will be incorporated in the proposed budget that we will see. Some key dates. We met to discuss on August the 13th. There were some publications on our website and our newspaper on the 13th and on the 15th. We are here at this public hearing and shortly followed by the actual meeting to adopt the tax rate and the budget here today, August 20th. If there are any questions, I'd like to try and answer those at this time.
Any questions?
I do. I have a quick question. So what does this tech rate mean for the actual dollar for an average homeowner? I mean, what are they going to see? Are they going to see savings? And do you have those figures, like for somebody who owns a $100,000 home versus somebody who owns a $200,000 home?
Correct.
Just
sir.
for transparency for the community.
Absolutely. So on this slide, we try and give that information if somebody had a home valued at $100,000 and that value did not change from one year to the next, they would see a reduction in their tax bill. Now, since the values tend to increase, that taxpayer would see a higher tax bill. We're proposing a lower tax rate to help mitigate that.
So we're lowering taxes for the community.
Correct, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I think I need to mention something, just again, for transparency, as you mentioned. So we're lowering the tax rate, right? Now, the equity in the home, right, can increase, and that can mean higher taxes, but on their end. But what we're doing is we're decreasing the tax rate so that we offset that increase in equity, the taxes because of the increasing equity, correct?
Correct, sir. That's exactly it.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Garcia. This is a public hearing to give the taxpayers an opportunity to express their views on the board's proposed tax rate. The board is proposing the following, excuse me, right here? Excuse me. In order to provide opportunity for all who wish to comment, we have a 3-minute time limit. Claudia, do we have any speakers? No speakers. All right. There is no action on this item. The regular board meeting to vote on the proposed tax rate is scheduled for today after the public hearing. I adjourn. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee De Leon and seconded by Trustee Camarillo. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. All right. I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College. Again, present are Trustee De Leon, Trustee Garcia, Trustee Norma Lopez Harris, Trustee Camarillo, and Trustee Aldrete, and myself also present, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. Do we do the pledge again? Okay, we'll skip the pledge. Okay, Claudia, you said there were no speakers. Okay, thank you. Before I call on the president to give his report, I would like to give a brief chair's report on the wonderful things happening here at TSC. Since we last met, we hosted 2 big events to continue the celebration of Texas Southmost College's 100th anniversary. Both of these events were sponsored by HEB, who is one of our Centennial Legacy sponsors. We are very appreciative of their partnership in raising scholarship funds for our students through our Centennial events. First, the Summer Movies on the Lawn was held on South Hall Lawn, June 26th. We showcased 2 movies, Hoppers and Superman. It was a free night of fun activities for families with giveaways, concessions, and it was wonderful to see generations of families enjoying a beautiful evening on our campus. Thank you, Vice Chair Lopez Harris and Secretary Camarillo for joining me and participating in this event. Next, the 4th of July Drone Show Spectacular was held at ITEC on July 2nd. There was so much to enjoy that event. that evening. There was a car and truck show, an iTech program showcase, live country music, line dancing, free food, and more. The big finale, of course, was the drone show, a modern twist on traditional fireworks. We had people come from as far away as McAllen to see this drone show. It was truly spectacular. Again, I want to thank Vice Chair Lopez Harris, Secretary Camarillo, for joining me in participating in this event. I also want to thank Dr. Rodriguez, Dr. Garcia, and the entire TSC team for continuing to make TSC Centennial events a great success. In addition to our Centennial celebration events, TSC was also in the spotlight last week with the U.S. Department of Labor. Acting Secretary Keith Sonderling visited South Texas last Thursday and made a point to include Texas Southmost College as one of his stops. We covered a lot of ground, touring him through a number of our programs. He saw the pipe fitting lab, the police academy, and our nursing simulations lab. We then had some time with him for a roundtable discussion, which was very productive. Acting Secretary Sonderling also engaged with our students, including one of our phlebotomy apprentices who recently completed his training. Thank you to Trustee Aldrete and Trustee De Leon for participating in this event. And a special thank you to Trustee Aldrete for connecting us and helping to facilitate the event with Secretary Sonderling. Finally, we had the opportunity to host State Senator Ana Hinojosa on campus today. We discussed our current legislative funding model under House Bill 8, as well as other issues relevant to TSC. We are very appreciative of the time that the senator spent with us today, as well as his continued support for Texas Southmost College, as well as his support for our college since assuming office last year. We look forward to continuing to strengthen our working relationship with Senator Hinojosa. As we approach the upcoming legislative session, I want to thank our trustees who serve on the TSC Legislative Committee, Secretary Camarillo and Trustee Garcia, for joining me in the visit today. This concludes my report, and I call on President Rodriguez to present his report.
Thank you, Chair Sines. Good evening, trustees. Over the summer months, we have had two important graduation ceremonies. Our Little Scorpions graduated from the Raul J. Guerra Early Childhood Center on June 25th. I want to thank Chair Sines and Secretary Camarillo for participating in the ceremony. We also celebrated a new class of graduating nurses on August 6th at our LVN pinning ceremony. Thank you to Chair Sines, Vice Chair Lopez Harris, and Secretary Camarillo for participating in the ceremony. To provide even more opportunities for our communities, our Workforce Training Division has been hard at work launching a number of new programs. We held an information session for the new Medical Aesthetics program on July 30th, which had a really nice turnout. Thank you to Vice Chair Lopez Harris and Trustee Aldrete for participating in the event. We also begun new programs to train dental assistants, pharmacy technicians, and realtors. Thank you to Dr. Garcia, Dr. Fuentes, and the entire WTC team for working with our industry partners to create new opportunities and fill our local workforce needs. Speaking of industry partners, we had a new investment from one of our partners that we announced in June. AGMP is a Texas-based company. While their reach is global, they are looking to hire more Texans through their $25,000 scholarship donation here at Texas Southmost College. Their generous gift will provide scholarship for students in pipe fitting and welding. These programs align with their company's focus on careers in oil, gas, and industrial construction. Thank you to Chair Sines for participating in the event. We held our third annual TSC Ambassador Conference from July 14th to the 16th. This is a 3-day conference that brought together 35 high school counselors and administrators, a number that continues to grow each year. Counselors participated in campus tours and engaged in hands-on learning experiences. We gave them some TSC swag and even awarded a TSC Ambassador Certificate. We are very appreciative of the exceptional collaboration we have with our secondary school partners. High school counselors are essential in helping us get the word out about the great work happening at TSC. So thank you to Dr. Plummer, Dr. Tipton, the entire student development team, as well as the many faculty, staff who made this event happen and made it successful, and to each of our trustees for their outreach and support of our work in the communities. During the summer months, our hardworking Student Life and Student Services team hosted a number of events designed to engage our community and promote student persistence. We had Popcorn with Student Life, New Student Orientation, the Snow Cone Social, and Applied Texas and Financial Aid workshops. Coming up this weekend, don't miss out. We're going to have the Sting Day on Saturday, August the 22nd. We invite everyone to join us for the kickoff of our academic year. There will be free food, a silent disco. I have no idea what that means, but I hear it's fun.
Silent disco?
Silent disco. A ver qué. I'm just coming to check out silent disco. I'm intrigued. The phone party, games, as well as student club and program information. Thank you to the entire Student Life and Student Services team. As we transition from summer to the fall semester, we held our annual fall convocation on Monday of this week. We talked about the benefits of continuously improving our communication and teamwork. As part of this discussion, we imagine ourselves serving our students with the precision of a NASCAR pit team. In addition, our vice presidents provided updates in their areas. Their presentation included several calls to action that will promote cross-divisional cooperation, really leveraging our strengths across the college. Thank you to Chair Sines and Secretary Camarillo for offering your words of support and encouragement to the TSC team during the event. As we enter the new academic year, we have several milestones we are aiming to achieve with our accrediting body, SACCOC, now called the Commission on Colleges and Universities. At this time, I would like to ask our Vice President of Instruction, Mr. Oscar Hernandez, to provide a quick update on the work being done.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Madam Chair Science, members of the board, just a quick update. As you may be aware, over the past year, we've had 2 visits from the commission. Still getting used to calling it the commission. We've had 2 visits, one for our 5th year reaffirmation report, which was submitted last year. They did a visit, I believe it was in September. And then we had another visit related to our BAT program. They came to visit and they gave us their report back. And at this time, we're looking for additional information that we need to provide that we failed to provide at that moment. So we're just providing that information to them. We should hear from them in December with the final results. But at this time, everything seems to be in order. So I think we're in good shape to move forward in December.
Thank you, sir. And now it is time for this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met. Danny, can you please roll the video? I just want to, Jonathan Baker, our instructor, you got some moves with salsa. You're pretty good. That was pretty good.
Very good. Yes, yes.
In closing, as we gear up for a new academic year, I would like to once again thank the Board of Trustees for your continued commitment to the college and the communities that we serve. And I would also like to thank the entire TSC campus community for their dedication in preparing for the new fall semester. Chair Sines, Board of Trustees, this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Going back to the silent disco, I know what that is.
Uh-oh.
Everybody wears their earphones, dances to their music. Nobody's listening to the same music. That's silent disco.
That's new to me.
That's new to me. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
Yeah, me too.
bring your earphones. Okay, item number 6, consideration of possible action on approval of the minutes of the following meeting, regular meeting, June 18th, 2026. I will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I so
of the-
move.
Second. Any discussion? Let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. 6B, special meeting, June 22nd, 2026. I will now entertain a motion to approve minutes of the special meeting of June 22nd as presented.
So move. Second.
Okay. Let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Item 7, Financial Committee. I call,
C.
oh, I need a,
One more.
6C, regular meeting, regular meeting, July 2nd, 2026. I will now entertain a motion to approve minutes of the regular meeting of July 2nd as presented.
I so move. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Financial Committee, I call on Dr. Norma Lopez Harris to present these items.
The Finance Committee met on Monday, August 10th, 2026. Present were Chair Sines, Secretary Camarillo, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC Administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 7A, consideration and possible action on award RFP 26-13 for emergency phone tower system with surveillance camera. And I'll call on Mr. Becerro and Dr. Alves to present the item.
Thank you, Pam. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, for a presentation on the emergency phone tower system with surveillance cameras, RFP. We have a RFP timeline here on this slide. In the month of May, we published on our TSC website, on our social media, and on our local papers. Our RFP submission deadline was May 27th. We find ourselves here on August 20th with a proposal to the TSC Board of Trustees. The description of services is for a project that will include the installation and implementation of some emergency phone towers. We do have existing towers that we're proposing to replace with this purchase. The new system will be capable of integrating with our current security infrastructure. On the next slide, we can see that there are 7 existing locations that we're proposing to replace a tower at, and 4 new locations that we're proposing to place a new tower at. We have a map here that shows you our campus and the iTech Center. The stars, the yellow stars represent the locations that are proposed as for the new towers, for the existing towers, sorry. The hexagons are the new tower locations that are being proposed. The evaluation committee was comprised of Mr. Robles from Facilities, Mr. Adan Gallegos from IT, Mr. Gabbard from Safety and Security, and also Mr. Nathan Flores from Safety and Security. The RFP pricing and scoring tabulation can be shown here. The committee scored International Global Solutions with a score of 90 and Pyrocon Systems with a score of 68. We can see there the location and the related costs for each of those proposals. These are the 10 criteria that the evaluation committees use when evaluating RFPs. The ones that are highlighted in green is where the respondent that we are proposing scored higher. The budget impact will come from this fiscal year 25-26 budget, and the committee and administration is recommending the award of the RFP 26-13 for the emergency phone tower system to be awarded to International Global Solutions in the amount of $365,000. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Okay, so this is the price for the towers, correct?
For the towers and the installation.
And the installation. But then is there like a service fee or something? Like,
That price that you see there is all inclusive, ma'am.
it's all inclusive, so you
it's
don't
a
pay like a
turnkey.
yearly fee
We
into
need
it
a
or anything?
motion, excuse me, we need a
sorry.
motion first, and then we'll have the discussion. Hold your thought. Okay, we need, go ahead and read
I
yours.
move to award RFP 26-13 for emergency phone tower system with surveillance camera to International Global Solution Corporation in the amount of $365,085, including one-year cell phone service and managed services, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contracts as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Now discussion.
Okay, can we continue?
Yes, ma'am. So that price that you saw on the slide includes the tower and the installation. There is a reference to a recurring cost that's not related to the installation or the towers. It's for the cell phone service to communicate.
Do we already have that, or that's additional?
That's going to be a cost that's going to be recurring. So that is an additional cost year over year after the implementation occurs.
Okay, so right now we're just approving the installation, correct?
Correct. And the first year of service.
Okay.
Sir?
Okay, so can you explain how the 11 locations were selected?
Okay, so there were 7 existing ones, and then from consultation with our safety and security folks, they determined the best locations to place those where there was a need.
Okay. And then my second question is the $53,000 for the additional maintenance. That's going to be recurring, right? So you're going
Correct,
to
sir.
bring the $53,000 every year and then give us a report of how it's working?
Correct, sir.
Yes.
That is absolutely correct. As part of the annual renewals, in May, you would see that line item in there, sir.
And so the 53,000 is it like maintenance for them as well, or
So that would be maintenance for software, any patches,
any
anything like that.
replacements, all that, or no?
And so any maintenance that's required by the system, software related,
Included with the 53,000?
correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to make a point. So I see that with the 50,000 service fee, we're still about 100,000 less than the competitor. But I did notice that the warranty, how's the warranty on that? Because I know that that wasn't one of their strong points with this company.
Yes. And then when the committee evaluated those items, that may not have been one of the items that scored higher, but in consideration of the price points that were involved, the committee decided to still select this item as their respondent that they're proposing, although the warranty may not have been as strong.
But it's still
It's
something
still a
that's-
warranty that will give us coverage, yes, sir.
I have one more question. So there was only 2 vendors. Is there a reason why there was only 2 vendors, or?
We opened it up to everyone, and then sometimes RFPs are like that where we get a lot of respondents.
And then just-
One, Mr. Villarreal had 65, and this one only had 2.
Okay, thank you.
I'll now take a vote. All in favor?
Chair Sines, I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask,
Ay, perdón,
no, sorry, 2 questions. Mr. Pacetto, the individuals that were in the evaluation committee, are those the right individuals that should be in the evaluation committee to determine the locations?
Absolutely, sir. Yes. We had folks from our safety and security area, a lot of experience there with the campus, location points, things like that.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. That's it.
Thank you. I'll now take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it.
7B, consideration and possible action on approval of Budget Amendment 26-003 in the amount of $4,904,426. And again, I'll call on Mr. Pacero to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have for you a proposed budget amendment to recognize excess revenue. The budget amendment is comprised of, let me check my notes here very quickly. There are 3 line items for revenue to be recognized: fast revenue, tuition and fee revenue, and investment income revenue. Those 3 line items respectively comprise the $4.9 million. That is the proposed revenue. On the flip side of that, which is the expenditure side, we're proposing out of the IT infrastructure side of the house, $1.5 million in expenditures. Out of the instruction side of the house, $1.6 million. From finance and admin, $1.5 million. And for institutional advancement, $179,000. Those 4 items summed make up the $4.9 million, so that proposes a balanced amendment to the budget. If there are any questions, I'd like to try and answer those at this time.
Now, were you gonna show, oh,
I move to approve Budget Amendment 26-003 for fiscal year 2026 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'll take a vote. All those in favor, discussion.
me. So were you supposed to like show the slide or no, for transparency? Because I think the public would need to know, what we're using the additional funds for. And then I want to ask you why those expenditures are the highest priority for the college.
Yeah. So in your packet, we did include a
Yes,
detail.
well, I
with
mean,
them.
yes, but not for the community.
Yes, sir. Just wanted to ensure
Yes.
you found that and you saw that.
Yeah.
And yes, so we had discussions with the vice presidents within their areas when we were developing the budget. We identified items that we could propose as one-time or capital expenditures, and that's what comprised the list out of those sections, sir. After discussing with those VPs, figuring out what was more of a need, that's how we developed that listing.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
7C, consideration and possible action on approval of the Texas Southmost College District budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. And again, I'll call on Mr. Pacero to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I have for you a presentation on the proposed budget for fiscal year '27. There are 3 fund types that we are proposing a budget for fiscal year '27. On this slide, we see the first of those 3 fund types. We have revenue described here on the top of the table with the expenditure categories at the bottom. The rows are the activity. The columns have comparative info, the 26-year budget, the fiscal year '27 proposed budget, and a variance column. As we can see from this slide for the general fund, we're proposing total revenue in the budget of $62,037,220, and the proposed expenditures is that same amount, $62,037,220. So we're proposing a balanced budget for the general fund. The second of the 3 fund types is the auxiliary fund. Again, the activity are on the rows. The comparative info for fiscal year '26 and proposed '27 are on the columns. This fund, you can see that the proposed revenue, $2,882,409, equals the proposed expenditures of $2,882,409. So we're proposing a balanced budget for the auxiliary fund as well. Last of the 3 fund types are debt service funds. Again, we have revenue at the top with expenditures proposed at the bottom. The columns have fiscal year '26 budget and then the proposed 2027 budget. From this slide, you can see proposed revenue, $3,160,075. which equals the proposed expenditures, $3,160,075. So that's revenue and expenditures for all three of the proposed fund types. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
I move to approve the Texas Southmost College fiscal year 2026-2027 operating budget as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
If I may. Mr. Pacetto, so does this balance, this item here, this balances the budget for Texas Southmost College?
That is correct, sir.
This also allows for all operations to continue regularly, and for some hiccups down the road, does this budget do that?
Correct, sir. For the period September 1st through August 31st.
Does this budget do anything for the faculty and the staff of TSC? Is there an increase there?
Yes, sir, there is. The proposed budget includes a 2% increase across the board.
Okay, thank you, sir.
As we just heard, it's worth mentioning that all employees will get a 2% across-the-board salary increase. That's included in this budget. All right, let's move on. Vote. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And we move on to
7D, consideration and possible action on the adoption of the 2026 Texas Southmost College District ad valorem tax rate. And I'll call on Mr. Pacetto to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I have for you the presentation of the proposed tax rate. Again, as I mentioned during the previous meeting, there are two key components: the maintenance and operations section, the debt service section of the tax rate. There are three different property tax rates for your consideration: the voter approval tax rate, the prior year tax rate, and the no new revenue tax rate. On this slide, we can see that comparison where the no new revenue rate is the rate that the district would adopt if it wanted to raise the exact amount of money that we raised last year within the budget. The prior year tax rate is just that, what we adopted last year. And the voter approval tax rate is the limit that the statutes impose on us that requires to adopt the rate and not go for voter referendum. So as we can see here, we're proposing the voter approval tax rate and those components for M&O. The rate is being proposed 0.096148, and for our debt service, 0.003586, for a total tax rate being proposed of 0.099734. The example impact on a $100,000 home would be $99.73 compared to the prior year tax rate, which would have been $111.81. Please note that the budget is based on this tax rate that we are proposing. Some key dates: we met to discuss on the 13th. We published on our website and in our newspapers on the 13th and on the 15th. And then we find ourselves here on the 20th proposing the adoption of the budget and the tax rate. We just did the budget. We just did the budget. Now we're proposing the tax rate. If there are any questions, be glad to answer them.
I move to adopt a maintenance and operations tax rate of 0.096148 and a debt tax rate of 0.003586 per $100 of valuation as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, we will now take an oral or individual vote. I call on Trustee De Leon. Aye or nay?
You have to vote. Yeah. Individually.
Individually.
Edgar Garcia? Secretary Lopez?
Aye.
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 Okay, very good. The ayes have it. And myself. Aye. Next
Sure.
item.
Chair Science, if I may, there is a resolution that's related to the tax rate. With your permission, I'd like to give that to Mr. Frank Perez so that he can read that aloud for us. You have a
Yes.
copy, sir? Perfect.
Resolution? Yes, sir. I do have that resolution here. You want me to read that?
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
The State of Texas, County of Cameron, Texas Southmost College District Resolution. Whereas, you're talking about the tax rolls, right?
Tax rate, sir.
Okay. Whereas the certified tax rolls for the year 2026 have been received for the Texas Southmost College District, and whereas it is necessary to set a tax rate for the year beginning January 1, 2026, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Texas Southmost College District that there will be levied for the tax year 2026 on all property owned within the limits of the Texas Southmost College District as of the first day of January 2026, except so much thereof as may be exempt by the Constitution of the United States and the laws of this state, the following tax ad valorem and ad valorem tax assessment for the tax year beginning January 1, 2026 at $0.096148 per $100 valuation at an assessment rate of 100% for maintenance and operation of the Texas Southmost College District. An ad valorem tax assessment for the tax year beginning on January 1, 2026 at $0.003045 per $100 valuation for the 2015 limited tax refinance bonds and $0.000541 per $100 valuation for the 2017 limited tax bonds adopted this 20th day of August 2026, signed Delia Science, Chair, Board of Trustees, Edward C. Camarillo, Secretary, Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Go on to next item.
7E, consideration and possible action on adoption of a bank resolution for signature card authorization, and I'll call on Mr. Pacero to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, the resolution will allow us to update our signature cards and allow us to deal with our different financial institutions where we have funds deposited. That is the purpose behind the resolution. If there are any questions, be glad to answer them.
I move to adopt resolution for signature card authorization as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have the resolution. Would you like me to read it, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. The State of Texas, County of Cameron, Texas Southmost College District Resolution. Whereas Texas Southmost College, parentheses, D College, needs to maintain banking relationships with various financial institutions, and whereas such financial institutions require the college to designate officers who are authorized to sign documents on behalf of the college, and therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Texas Southmost College designates the following officers and/or authorized signatories as authorized signers to establish bank accounts on behalf of the college, close such accounts, operate such accounts, and designate persons to operate such accounts. The name and titles are as follows: Delia Science, TSC Board Chair; Edward C. Camarillo, TSC Board Secretary; Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez, TSC President; Mr. Carlos Pacero, Vice President of Administration. Resolved further that a banking institution may rely upon this resolution in its entirety until receipt of notice in writing of any modification and/or revocation of authorized persons. Upon motion duly seconded, the above resolution was passed at the special meeting of the Board of Trustees held on the 20th day of August 2026, signed Delia Science, TSC Board Chair, Edward C. Camarillo, TSC Board Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
7F, monthly financial statement report for the month ended June 30th, 2026, and I'll call on Mr. Pacero to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I have for you the monthly financial statement report for the period ended June 30th. We have three fund types that we adopt a budget for. We have the first of those three fund types, the education and general fund, on this slide, and we're displaying total revenues for the months of May and June. So those respective amounts are 3.3 million, as we can see here, and 6.1 million for the months of May and June. Moving on to the expense categories, we have salaries and wages and benefits displayed on this slide. Those subtotals are 2.5 million and 2 million for salaries and wages respectively, and 659,000 and 592,000 for benefits in May and June respectively. Next category is the M&O. Starts on this slide, continues, and then concludes here. So that subtotal for the M&O, the month of May, 1.1 million, and for June, 2.6 million. Still in general fund, still in the expenditures, we have subtotals for travel and general institutional. 33,000 for May, 32,000 for June for travel. And then we have 195,000 and 217,000 respectively for general institutional. Last slide for the general fund. I'll just note the total expenditures, 4.7 million in May and 6 million in June. So that's revenue and expenditures for the general fund. This is our recap of the budget amendment monies. We had expenditures, 464,000 and 1.1 million respectively for May and June. On this slide, we have the second of the three fund types that we adopt a budget for, and we have revenue for the auxiliary fund. For the month of May, 322,000. For the month of June, 118,000. On this slide, we have the expenditures and the categories that start that off are salaries and wages and benefits. Those respective subtotals are 68,000, 61,000 for May and June, and then for benefits, 16,000 respectively for May and June. We're still in the auxiliary fund. This is the M&O category. So it starts on this slide and then concludes. Subtotals for May and June, 60,000 and 31,000 respectively. Last slide for the auxiliary fund. So I'll note just the total expenditures. 151,000 for May, total expenditures 335,000 for June. So that's revenue and expenditures for the auxiliary fund. The last of the three fund types, the bond funds. On this slide, we have revenue for May, 134,000, for June, 318,000. And the expenditures for neither May or June, there were no expenditures in this fund type. So that's revenue and expenditures for all three fund types. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
This item is for information only. No action is required.
I have a question. On the variants that are negative,
Yes, sir.
can you explain why they're negative and how, would that have an impact in the budget or?
So I'd like to show you one of those variances, and a great place to show that is the education and general fund, because for salaries and wages, the way we budget that is we have one pool, right? And then we'll have individual line items that will adjust these numbers from the pool up at the top to cover the individual salaried amounts. So you'll see where that activity occurs. Let me show you on the auxiliary fund real quick, sir. So here on the auxiliary fund, we have a similar situation where we have the expenditures, and then we'll have negatives here in the benefits section, where we have that pool amount, but then individual line items for the expenditures. And then that total up at the top as a positive is offset by those negatives. That's why you still see a positive amount of 39,000. So I think that's the best example that I can demonstrate there, sir.
7G, third quarter investment report for fiscal year 2026, and I'll call on Mr. Pacero to present the item.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, I have for you the investment report for the third quarter. I'll recap that this report is prepared in this fashion to meet the requirements of the Public Funds Investment Act. So we present these on a quarterly basis, and we put this specific detail in there to meet that act's requirements. We do put a table up here at the top to recap the prior quarter activity to show as comparative information. I can tell you for this quarter that we're reporting, 115 million were invested with 928,000 in interest income for that quarter. The remainder of the report will detail the type of account, the balance related with that account, how much interest it earned, what the maturity date is, so on and so forth. So that's the remainder of the report, and you'll see that the investment report is signed by the investment officer, and all of those things are required by the act. If there are any questions on the report, I'll be glad to answer them.
This item is for information only, no action is required. 7H, consideration and possible action on television and digital advertising contract, and I'll call on Dr. Garcia to present the item.
Good evening. Thank you, Vice Chair Lopez-Harris, Chair Sines, members of the board, President Rodriguez. This item is related to television and digital advertising. In May of this year, during the approval of many of our annual contracts, this Televisa Univision was approved as a vendor. What we're bringing here today is to ask you to approve the entity, the legal name of the entity that we will contract for the services with Televisa. And we did put an estimated $70,000 in terms of what we thought we were going to spend with them in that May agenda item. Again, back then, we were just requesting the approval of the vendor. Now we actually have, we can break down what the actual $70,000 is going to be. We will give you information. Mr. Vasquez, with your permission, can share with you specifically what we will be getting from Televisa. Again, the request today is to approve it in terms of their legal name, which is, I lost it. Alternative and Innovative Marketing, DBA AIM, a representative of Televisa Univision U.S. Mexico border states. And so again, we're just trying to bring that to you, and with your permission, I'll ask Mr. Vasquez to tell you what they will be doing for us during the soccer season.
Good evening, Chair Sines, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. The proposed, do we have them here? So what we'll be getting with this advertisement contract is a lot of advertisements. So we have live broadcasts of 11 of the games, which are our male and female games, our women and men's games this year. Last year, we only had a couple, we had like 3 or 4 games televised. We'll also be getting live streaming on the YouTube channel, which has 22,000 followers. But on Channel 8, we have over 600,000 viewers, which is also a channel, Spectrum channel, which is cable. Channel 2.1, which is the one that they use more, is at almost 3 million viewers in this area, Tamaulipas and the RGV area. So we also get promotional TV spots and as well as Facebook proposals. They have over 430,000 followers. So we have posts on that. We'll be providing. They'll be pushing the games on their view on Facebook Live right before the game, so people know that it will be on TV. Also, the 150 TC brand awareness spots is something that they wanted to promote or push here during our time of the games, but we'll be spreading out throughout the year. So that way we have this contract throughout the year, so we can use it at different times. So let's see. These are the games that will be televised and from September through October 20th. And then, and these expenses will be coming from the proposed budget of our fiscal 26-27 year. Thank you.
I move to approve the contract for television and digital advertising with Alternative and Innovative Marketing, DBA AIM, representative of Televisa Univision U.S. Mexico border states through exempted purchasing method in the amount of $70,944, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
So are we getting any measurable return from this investment? Or is it just going to be views that we're looking at? And then what matrix are we going to be using? Are you going to report, hey, this is how many people have viewed the game? Like,
Yeah, I mean, we certainly can. We get all of those analytics with any of our contracts.
Yes.
So they'll tell us if it's YouTube, it's how many clicks. If it's the viewers, we'll get all of that data that we can certainly share with you.
yes, when you get them, if you can share with the board, I think that it would be important for us to know where, the return of investment is going and how many people are actually viewing
Yes,
games.
yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The numbers that you mentioned earlier, that 3 million viewers, and is that from general or is that from the previous games that were televised?
No, that's the TV viewership, the channel 2.1. So those are the numbers that they give us. Yeah.
Not specific to our games.
Not specific to our games.
Oh,
It's just
no,
in
but
general.
you mentioned another number. I think it
Oh,
was.
Channel 8 is our kid, so they have Channel 2.1 and Channel 8, which is Televisa Tamaulipas, and that's on Spectrum, it's a cable channel, and the other one's live, it's on.
What was the viewership like in the last season? Those 4
So-
games that were televised.
We only had a few games, so, I'm not sure. I have to get that information for you. I'll request it. Yeah.
So, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
At our committee meeting, one of the things we talked about was, so now all the games are going to be live, right? And so this would be international, worldwide, because it was only a few games televised last year. Now that exposure is going to be much greater. The other benefit that I do like is that the programming and the things that are going to be done, videos of the programs and showcasing TSC in between those commercials has great benefit. But to the point, yes, to that benefit, what did it do did we see an increase in enrollment? Did we see how many clicks on the site because of the ad? Essential, important, definitely, I agree with that. But the amount of exposure that we're gonna get for that season is greater than we did a year ago. And so I think it is funds well spent. And hopefully the media will pick this up. I guess one of the biggest issues I have is, KRGV, I would try to watch Channel 5 as often as I can, not to give them a plug, but when they do talk about TSC soccer, I'm like, that's great, but they don't do enough of that. And hopefully this will help pick up more in terms of the programming, but give us a shout out, hey, TSC's playing today. Come out to the game like they're doing everybody else. But I believe in this, I think this will help, but yes, definitely should try.
Thank you. Televisa also, they moved around their newscast because, we had it at a certain time, so they moved that around for us because it did well last year. So when they come up to us to propose it this year, they wanted to propose all the games. And so that's how this got started. But, well, it's all the home games because it's not our away games. But
I want to add something. You mentioned that TV distribution is through Spectrum, but if you have antenna, it's also a free channel. XHAB. Canal 7, it's a free channel if you don't have Spectrum TV. Is it like the window cable?
yeah.
The antenna, the window antenna or the rabbit antennas, remember those? That's a free channel.
And that's the channel that has 3 million viewers or close to 3 million viewers.
Very
The
good.
free one. Yeah.
Okay. We'll take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
7I, grants awarded to Texas Southmost College through July 2026. And I'll call on Dr. Stella Garcia to present the item.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lopez Harris, Chair Science, members of the board, President Rodriguez. I'm going to give you a quick update on grants since we last reported. These are the new grants since the last report. Happy to go through each one. Greater Brownsville Economic Development awarded $160,000 in the spring for pipe fitting training. We have a grant with Rio South Texas, which is actually funded to the foundation, but it passes through to the college for $390,000. Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, BCIC, we were awarded a quality of life grant to develop our Fort Brown Heritage Walking Tour, which we are working on right now. We have a small grant on the Nursing Shortage Reduction Program for $6,000, and then Gene Haas Foundation, a small grant for professional development for $750,000 since the last report. The rest of the report is just a roll-up of all the grants since the beginning of the year. Those who were previously reported, those were the ones I just went through. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you have on any of the grants.
This item is for information only. No action is required.
Thank you. I call on Mr. Edgar Garcia to present the academic committee items.
Good afternoon. So the Academic Committee met on Monday, August 10th, 2026. Present were Chair Sines, Vice Chair Lopez-Harris, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item. Item 8A, consideration and possible action to approve the affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Wave Healthcare. I call on Mr. Oscar Hernandez and Dr. Guajardo to present the item.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Chair Science, members of the board, President Rodriguez, with your permission, I'd like to ask Dr. Guajardo to present items A and B.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Good afternoon, Madam Chair Science, members of the Board of Trustees, and President Rodriguez. I'm presenting this. This is a new affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Wave Healthcare, which is located in Edinburgh, Texas. This affiliation will provide the respiratory care science program students the opportunity to conduct their clinical training, and the proposed affiliation has been reviewed and approved by our legal team.
Perfect. I move to approve the affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Wave Healthcare and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the agreement as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, me. So I have a question. How many students will benefit from this clinical, and do we already have it?
No, it's a new
It's a
affiliation
new one. So how
agreement.
many students will benefit? Do you have that number?
It will be around 24.
24. And so my other question is, will students incur transportation costs, or do we pay for that?
No,
How
we
do they
provide,
get
there is help from grants and the foundation grants or some nonprofits that they receive for transportation every semester.
The students receive it?
Yes.
So they're aware that there's funding?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, that's what I have. Thank you.
Okay. I'll now take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 8B, consideration and possible action to approve the addendum to the clinical affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Texas Healthcare Imaging. Call on Mr. Oscar Hernandez and Dr. Guajardo to present the item.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Good afternoon, Madam Chair Science, members of the Board of Trustees, President Rodriguez. I'm presenting this an addendum of our active clinical affiliation agreement with Texas Healthcare Imaging. Through this addendum, we are adding two new clinical training sites, one located in Harlingen and an additional in Weslaco, Texas. This site will provide the opportunity of the students for two programs, radiologic technology and diagnostic medical sonography, to conduct their clinical practices. This addendum has been reviewed and approved by our legal team. If you have any questions, I will be happy to respond.
No questions? I move to approve the addendum to the clinical affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Texas Healthcare Imaging and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the addendum as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Item 8C, consideration and possible action to approve the affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Texas A&M University, Kingsville. Call Mr. Hernandez to present the item.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Madam Chair Science, members of the board, President Rodriguez, this affiliation agreement is, I'm bringing it to you for your approval for two reasons. We've been working with Texas A&M Kingsville for a number of years. The current MOU is coming to an end this year, so we're updating it, and this time is in our conversations with A&M Kingsville, we have an affiliation agreement instead of a memorandum of understanding. It's very similar in terms of the different parts. It's just really a name change, if you will, right, from a memorandum of understanding to an affiliation agreement. This will give us an opportunity to continue our conversations with A&M Kingsville to be able to develop pathways for our students that would like to transfer to A&M Kingsville.
I move to approve the affiliation agreement between Texas Southmost College and Texas A&M University Kingsville and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the agreement as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
It's me. So what programs are involved with this affiliation?
It could be any of our programs that are transferable, sir. Anything from general studies to allied health education, agriculture, agribusiness, architecture, any of programs that we can have available.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Item 8D, consideration and possible action to approve the revised Adult Education and Family Literacy Act sub-award agreement between Texas Southmost College and Bronzeville Independent School District. I call on Dr. Stella Garcia and Dr. Fuentes to present the item.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia, Chair Science, members of the board, President Rodriguez. This item was actually approved in May, and since then, BISD came back and asked to update the indemnification clause, which was approved by legal. Dr. Fuentes is here if you want to hear about the program itself, but the action is to approve their amended agreement that provided that indemnification. You want?
Yes. I move to approve the revised Adult Education and Family Literacy Act sub-award agreement between Bronzeville Independent School District and Texas Southmost College and authorize President Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez to execute the agreement as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
This concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Student Service Committee, I call on Ms. Alejandra Alderete to present this item.
The Student Services Committee met on Monday, August 10th, 2026. Present were Chair Sines, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Admin and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 9A, consideration and possible action on approval of Artificial Intelligence AI One-Stop Contact Center with College Vine. I call on Mr. Villarreal.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Alderete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. This evening, I bring to you an opportunity to review the possible contract with the AI One-Stop Contact Center. This is an exempted purchase with College Vine that will allow us to implement an opportunity to help us with answering our phone calls and managing the inbound and peak hours. What we currently have is an 8 to 5 schedule to answer phones. During peak times, we increase that schedule from 8 to 6, and we turn on the ability to answer phone calls on Saturdays. However, with the consideration for purchase of this product, this will allow us to have a 24/7 phone service. The opportunity, in addition to that, will allow us to reduce the amount of frequent questions that we receive over the phone. More importantly is that we're currently staffing the contact center with temporary and student workers, temporary personnel and student workers. So we've been managing as we speak, but as we continue to increase our frequency with our community, advertising, all of the marketing and the efforts that we do for outbound outreach usually triggers questions that come back to us. And so we currently have our staff not only managing our in-person traffic, but they're also trying to provide the high-touch experience that requires that advanced advising session and or review of their registration and or changes as needed. This current product will allow us to not place anybody on hold, And more importantly, the opportunity of this software application will works with our current telephony system, which is T-Mobile's dial pad system.
I move to approve the contract for AI One Stop Contact Center from Canopy Education, Inc., DBA College Vine, through exempted purchasing method in the amount of $85,000 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order contract as presented.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
Chair Science, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just two questions. Mr. Vidal, when you mentioned about the work studies and the temporary staff, is this, if this gets approved and voted on, is this going to displace those employees, or they're still going to have their jobs?
No, sir.
in light of this?
We would not displace the employees or the temporary staff. We would assign them to help us on a different projects that we currently have in place for this coming year.
Let me add a comment to what you're saying, Mr. Camarillo. And the question that I asked during committee was, sometimes we don't want to talk to AI, we actually want to talk to a person. So that's why we're still going to have our employees where they could say operator, click 0, and it moves them to a person.
Perfect. And the last one is, are there any other local or within the state of Texas using this already? This system?
Some of our partnering institutions are using it. For example, Sam Houston State University is currently a partner with them. There are some other schools in East Texas that are just started using the product. What I'd like to see is introduce AI to our campus community, not only just by the reception of phone calls, but we'd like to, as we continue our partnership, train it to help us provide them with validation and support of the services that we provide. And as Ms. Aldrete said, those that would be and require that additional in-person conversation, we will have staff to receive those calls. But we do receive many calls that are asking about payment deadlines, registration, setting up an appointment. And I'll give you an example, if I may. Today, we received approximately, by 3 o'clock, we had 288 calls. This is just for financial aid, general information, registration, advising, and that's as we get in readiness for Monday. So that's just one day. And plus, we have appointments and in-person traffic. So.
Absolutely. So you reduce the wait time, but you reduce those students that are just trying to get that quick info that they don't necessarily need to talk to somebody.
Correct.
But the info was already there and it's readily instant. Very ideal. So great job with that. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So what safeguards do we have so that this AI does not give misinformation? You're going to be able to track that stuff?
Yes, sir. So we vetted it with our IT department, which includes security, but more importantly is that we're not going to immediately open the door to provide that information. It's going to go through a training phase. It's a 3-phase process. The first one will be to provide general information that falls off of our website. In addition to that, phase 2 will include some of that opportunity to provide them that next tier of information, such as specific program information. And then as we continue to evolve the product, we will then allow or turn on the ability to authenticate for an individual, just kind of like what you would do with a bank. It'll ask you to validate, enter your account number, you enter it, it'll receive it, but we do have a mechanism and a plan in place.
And I have one more question. So this is an exempted purchase method, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do we establish competition? How do we know that the $85,000 actually represents a fair market value for this AI?
So we had been in partnership with the president. He had asked if we could pursue an opportunity to help us manage this. I sent out inquiries. I also sit on the TACRO listserv and ACRO listservs, and I reached out with the question about, does anybody have a contact center solution that could help answer phone calls? We've already implemented some of the solutions, which is the chat functionality that we currently have on our website. We have text messaging, two-way text messaging, and we also implemented a CRM, a customer relationship management software that allows us to send outbound communications for this. And so when looking at other products, T-Mobile offers an add-on to it that is basically just a chatbot mobile version. In addition to that, we explored other vendors who provide the service, but at this point, they didn't necessarily have the experience with a higher ed institution. So we had, and from my perspective in having this conversation with the administrative cabinet, is that, it's affordable, it's phased in, we can certainly, it's a short-term opportunity, but more importantly, in comparison and asking our other colleagues within the state, they had very good words to say about the company. So it depends on what we were looking for. Everybody wants to have the full-blown flesh service of the telephone system embedded within it. Others have products that sell you not only the AI chatbot, but they sell them to you in a package service. We already have existing contracts with other vendors.
Okay, so like for future, when it's up and running, would you be able to give us the report to see how
Yes, sir.
functioning is
We
going?
will bring those analytics to you as we continue to establish our partnership.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
9B, Texas Southmost College NJCAA Intercollegiate Team Update.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete, Chair Science, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Starting another year, another exciting year of student athletics. Now we've gotten soccer going for a couple of years. And, we had track and cross country starting up last year. We're gonna have it again this year. Teams are doing great. I just want to introduce Dr. Tipton, our AVP for Educational Partnerships and Outreach, and Mario Zamora, who's now our Director of Recreation Center and Athletic Operations, to kind of give you an update on what's happening with the team and our schedule for the next fall.
Thank you, Dr. Plummer. Madam Chair, Science, President Rodriguez, Board of Trustees, thank you for the opportunity to provide this brief update on the TSC athletics for fall 2026. Oh, I have the clicker. Looking at that. This fall, 75 student athletes are representing Texas Southmost College in men's and women's soccer and cross country in the NJCAA Region 14. We have a total of 55 student athletes in soccer and 20 in cross country. And we are also pleased to report that 16 of our student athletes earned Region 14 all academic honors.
Very good.
While 13 of the student athletes earned NJCAA all academic honors, 10 in soccer and 3 in cross country.
Very good.
And looking ahead at the schedule, our men's soccer team begins their home schedule on September the 4th, with home games continuing through October. And we are also happy to report that our home schedules will include several special themes this year. So we'll have BISD Spirit Day, Youth Soccer Day, 956 School Appreciation Day, Pink Out Day, and Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day.
Dr. Prissy, are you going to share those dates with us and those themes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because this was not during our committee meeting. And another question, at what times are we having our soccer games? Because they were like at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock last year, like during working hours.
Yes, and go ahead.
I have that information here. So,
Yes, they are during the day, and
yes, most of them is going to be at 11 and 2 o'clock.
11 and 2. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
and we don't set those schedules.
Saturday game will be,
Oh, we do have a Saturday?
yes, we have a Saturday game that will be, let me tell you, September 5th. That will be our second home game, actually. That will be 11 and 1:30 p.m.
Okay. Very good. This is for information only.
Yes, and our cross-country teams will also compete throughout the fall with meets in San Antonio, Huntsville, and College Station. And as you can see also on on the PowerPoint that Texas Southmost College has been selected to host this year's NJCAA Region 14 Cross Country Championship on October the 31st. And so we look forward to welcoming our Region 14 to Brownsville and to Texas Southmost College. So thank you all for your support. Do you all have any questions?
I do. Real quick,
Yes.
Dr. Tipton. So I know that the focus on athletics is long-term financial modules, but how many community sponsors have you reached out to, and have we had any this year?
So we're going out and reaching out to the sponsors that we had last year, and we're also doing some grassroots campaigning and going out into the community.
So did you raise any money last year, or?
Yes.
Yes, you
I don't
did.
have that amount, but yes, we
Okay.
can get that for you.
And then, yeah, I know that you mentioned about the students, the high performance ones, the things.
The
that were-
all academic honors?
Yes, but do you think, I think it would be important to not talk only about those, but what about the other rest of the students? How are they doing academically? You know, that maybe you can give us a little
A
highlight
report.
on the, yes.
Yes,
please.
definitely.
Thank you.
Chair Science, quick question. Those all-region students, though, that is included academically as well. It's just not play, correct?
Correct.
So it's they're on the field, but then it's in the classroom, how well they've done.
Yes.
Is part of the recognition.
Yes,
So-
correct.
So just to piggyback on that, maybe if we can, get them here at a meeting so we can recognize and thank them, because to be a good student, but also to play really well, I think that's really important. The last thing you mentioned, BISD. Great theme. Is there any way it could be BISD / our partner schools?
Yes.
Because we're recruiting not just from BISD, but we're recruiting from way out there. And if we could give them recognition, their families, they could come themselves and participate. Just a consideration.
Yes, thank
Our
you. And
local
we'll share
partners.
those themes. We do have that. Go ahead. The
Actually,
956.
Mr. Camarillo, on September 15, 956 School Appreciation Day, that will be for all the partners, we're going to invite all the schools that we have recruited from.
Yeah, we figured BISD coming, we need to give them their own day, and then the other schools would have a different day. That way, kind of spread out and get more students coming.
Perfect. Thank you all so much.
This concludes my report.
Thank you.
Facilities update. I call on Mr. J.J. De Leon to present the item.
That was going to be the best for last, but no. The Facility Committee met on Tuesday, August 11, 2026. Present were Chair Science, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 10A, Facilities Update. I'll call on Mr. Cero, Vice President of Finance Administration, Mr. Rolando Robles, Executive Director of Facilities and Fiscal Plan, and Mr. Genaro Mascorro, HVAC Supervisor, to present the item.
Thank you, sir. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, with your permission, I'll ask Mr. Robles to present 2 items out of that facilities update, and then Dr. Garcia will wrap up the end of that presentation. With your permission, I'll allow them to come up.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon. Thank you, Madam Chair, Science, board members, and President Rodriguez. What you have before you is a presentation for our facilities projects. Our first project, which I'm really excited about, is our tennis, basketball, pickleball court completion. It was completed as of yesterday. Here you will see the timeline. We started back in December 2025 and went through the process, which culminated in the completion of the actual court. And I'll show some slides of what it looked like previously and what it looks like now. That's 2 pickleball courts, 2 tennis ball courts or tennis courts, and 1 basketball court. That is the completed picture as it stands today. Here's another view just from a different angle. Here you'll see from the basketball court side looking across. And here you'll have from the opposite side You can see the both pickleball courts, the tennis nets on both the tennis courts. And that's the new tennis court. Next will be the thermal plant chiller installation design and construction status. This was a scope of work. We went out, got RFIs, and selected Ethos Engineering to complete the design work. Here you'll see the date timeline of when we commenced on August 23rd, went through, equipment was delivered on May 25 of 2025. June 25, Ethos was selected as for the design work. In December of 2025, they were at 60% for design docs. April the 6th, they were at 85 for design, and structural was at 60. May, they increased up to 99% on both sides, or on the design for the chillers, and then the construction docs were at 95%. As of August, they're both at 99%, and the only thing that was why they're not at 100% is because they're waiting for a stamp on the construction doc, but that's a formality because they've gone through, looked at it, they're just waiting on that company to give them the stamp on the design docs. So with that, that project will be ready to go. Once we're ready to come back to the board for we'll go through the RFP process and then come back to the board. With
I
that,
remember asking I can't remember because I have so many things, but on the cost analysis, remember, moving forward, that the board would know, the cost for every step of the way, so we have an idea.
Yes, sir.
I had requested it.
yes, it's running through the process right now.
Yes.
So that we can provide that to you.
Thank you.
All right, with that, Dr. Garcia.
Yes.
Trustee De Leon, Chair Sines, members of the board, President Rodriguez. I'm going to give you a quick overview. We've been working on our exterior, interior, and wayfinding signage project, which is part of our strategic plan. A year ago, back in May, you approved a vendor FD2S to develop the scope of work, the signage specifications. They had several discovery meetings, took a lot of pictures, and so they have provided some renderings of the signage, what it would look like. We're working with purchasing right now to develop the RFP that would go out to identify fabricators and installers that could make these signs and install them on the campus. And so I anticipate by November or January, you could be getting an RFP to award organizations that would do the signage. So this is a rendering of the primary marker that this is at International and May Street. So Oliveda is kind of behind from that perspective. This is it on the other way, coming International and May, looking at Jacob Brown behind it. You can see the arch here where Oliveda is. So that would be one view. The next corner here is at Tandy. So this is Ridgely and International. That sign there would be a digital sign. We will have to work through the city and the permitting. The campus is considered historic in nature, so we're going to have to work through probably that in terms of the appropriate signage. But this is the proposal. And so we would announce registration. We would announce events that are coming up, performers at the Performing Arts Center. We could do a lot of different ongoing announcements there. This is the sign at iTech. And so this would be at the main entrance where the old Payless is. So the same sign. So that's that particular intersection. This would be a digital sign on the Palm Boulevard side. So those of you that come up Palm and take a left on the welding side of the iTech, you would see this sign. So again, announcing registration or new programs or whatever it is that we need to be announcing, we would have that digital sign there. This is a secondary, what would they call a campus threshold. You can see the scale of that sign. This could be on any corner, Jackson Street parking lots, anything that denotes that this is a Texas Southmost College property. This is how it might look on campus and at iTech. Additional signage for directional driver. You can see again, the scale with the car and the individual rather large. And we want to make sure the print is large, so this would be on the streets, on the street side. Another angle. This is, rendering in terms of what it might look like if you were driving down the street. At iTech, same thing. Our parking lot signs, one of the recommendations as working with safety and security risk management is that we need to number or letter our parking lots. And primarily for information when we're telling somebody where to park, hey, park at parking lot 10, but also for first responders. There's an incident, we want them to go to parking lot 10 instead of A because we have a lot of A's or general parking. So we will be renumbering and naming the parking lots, as well as at iTech in sections, like you go to a lot of airports, there's sectioned parking, so we want to make sure we are identifying that. Rendering of what it might look like. This would be for people on campus walking, specifically here at Fort Brown. So directional signage, scaled maps, how it might look like. So all the old signage would be removed, and this would be the new signage. This is the historic walking tour. So we would have additional signage on the historic buildings that would have that 45-degree angle that people can read about the buildings. Here's another rendering. This would be the entire map of the historic buildings. We have a separate grant for that, so we'll be paying for that signage with that grant. Pedestrian kiosks, so we have several of those on campus with the map. So this would be, again, you can kind of, with the perspective of the student standing, they would replace where the maps currently are. This would be a marker at each building. One of the things they noted is that the names of the building, you don't see them sometimes until you're already passing it. So this would be closer to the walkway that they can see, oh, Cortés is coming up. And then this is just the family of signs. You can see the scale with the tree behind them, with the person on the very right. So some of these are going to be rather large. And then down to the pedestrian kind of signage. This is the general timeline. We're right now in August. The RFP is being developed with purchasing. They've been working with Patricia. If we release it in September, October, we could get proposals and award as early as November, but I anticipate probably more like January. We award the first set, they start working on them, and hopefully start installing by spring or summer. And they're also working on the interior signage as well. That's going to take a little longer because they have to look at every floor plan, identify all the restrooms, different closets, and what have you to get all the different kind of signage for that. And that's it. I think this last one was really just the city's working on the Renaissance, their downtown master plan. This is a concept if they were to develop, continue to develop behind into, that is on the very left is Palm Boulevard. If, they're proposing like residential, it's a mix of residential, commercial, recreational. iTech is that box kind of right in the center bottom. And so you can see potentially the prominence of iTech with the further development of this downtown master plan. And with this particular project, the FD2S as a vendor is creating all of the specifications we need for any sign. So if this is 5 years from now, we already have the specifications. We can add a different sign in a different location that would still match what we're doing on the campus. And happy to answer any questions you might have.
And one of the biggest questions I had was the material of some of these signs because of our weather, right? So that's definitely a thing that they're looking at to make sure that it lasts for a long time.
It doesn't fade and it doesn't fly away. Yes, sir.
So if no questions, then this item is for information only and no action is required.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon.
This concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Policies Committee report. Mr. Edward Camarillo.
The Policies Committee report, Policies Committee met on Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. Present were Chair Sines, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, college, and board legal counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 11A, consideration and possible action to approve the following local policy from TASB, Update 50, EFAA. I'll call on Mr. Frank Bettis, Board Legal Counsel, to present the item.
Thank you, Trustee Camarillo. Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez, the first local policy recommended by TASB in your packet is EFAA Local Instructional Programs and Courses, Academic Courses. This new local policy, clarifies the process for the development and adoption of a core curriculum by the college. It addresses Senate Bill 37, which we've been dealing with for a while. That Senate bill's requirement that the board conduct a comprehensive review of the college's general education curriculum and provide that the review must occur at least every 5 years, more frequently at your discretion. It also establishes a process for the submission of an annual update on general education curriculum changes to the board and reflects the board's choice to reserve the right to overturn decisions regarding changes to the curriculum. Trustee Camarillo, would you like me to go on to update 51?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Also being considered in your packet are 3 local policies that were delivered to us by TASB in update 51. The first one is CS Local Information Security. Revisions to this local policy at the Information Security Assessment incorporate amendments to the rules from the Department of Information Resources that were intended to be implemented by House Bill 1500. It eliminates the information security component of the assessments that were relevant to community colleges. FB local admissions, the recommended revisions clarify that a college may not award credits for courses that are disregarded for admissions purposes under the Academic Fresh Start program. FDA local, tuition and fees, residency. The only change here is the change of the title of resident status determination officials. It's been updated to reflect the newly adopted coordinating board rules relating to that particular institution. The recommendation by the policy committee is to approve EFAA local, CS local, FB local, and FDA local as presented. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bettis. I'll take the first item first. I move to approve TASB recommended action. I move to approve TASB recommended action on the following local policy, EFAA.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
I move to approve the following update, 51 local policies, CS, FB, and FDA.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do I hear any discussion? We'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. The board will now convene an executive session as provided by Government Code Chapter 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.0761. We're back from executive session. Do we have any motions?
I have one, ma'am.
I have one too.
I move that the Board of Trustees authorize and approve President Rodriguez and his designees to contact endowment donors to obtain agreements as discussed in executive session.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, discussion. Vote, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Next motion, please.
I move that the Texas Southmost College Board of Trustees approve the salary schedule for the fiscal year of 2025-2026 as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, discussion. Vote,
Aye.
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 aye. Okay, one more, I believe?
Yes, ma'am. I have a motion that the Board of Trustees authorize the approved president salary increase and contract as discussed in executive session.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second, discussion. Okay, let's vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Announcement of next meeting dates. The next meeting dates are regular board meeting Thursday, September 24th at 5:30 PM, and Thursday, October 15th, 2026 at 5:30 PM. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go home.
See you all at the disco.